Hello and welcome to First Impressions. This is a show where every week my co-host Dash Hooper and I evaluate an album we've never heard before. And after playing it, we take notes, rate it in a variety of categories, and let you know our thoughts. And tonight, we're looking at Speaking in Tongues, the 1983 album by Talking Heads. And we have a guest tonight. So, Jon, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Sorry I missed my first opportunity. I'm glad to get a second shot.
This time, you know the album, though. So I told him he's kind of coming in as our expert on the Talking Heads. So I don't know. Did either of you guys watch any of the Coachella stuff this weekend?
I did not. I saw like a couple clips of some, but not much. Not my scene.
I watched I called it Couchella because I was just kicking it on my couch, not dealing with dickheads in the desert like I did the years I've gone to real Coachella. Some guy tried to light me on fire at my first Coachella.
Wait, that's Burning Man, not Coachella.
Yeah, they got mixed up, but I think they were so stoned they didn't know where they were. But yeah, I'm sitting there, I'm watching Beck, and this guy's got a lighter and some freaking hairspray, and he's like, "Dude, I'm gonna fucking burn you!" And like, shh. I was like, "Oh man, I will never do this again." I went to the first Coachella, retired from Coachella, but I was happy to be able to sit on my couch, enjoy the sets, and if I wasn't feeling it, just turn off. So I did see the David Byrne set. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed his. I tried to watch Justin Bieber. That was some boring shit. Like, dude, pretend like you give a fuck about what you're doing, because damn, you do not, and you're getting paid truckloads of money. But I watched like 2 songs and got angry.
Well, everybody's split on that one, though. I mean, there's people that thought it was pretty good, and there's people that were. I didn't have a problem with it.
I call them apologists. He was giving troubadour energy on a giant 80,000 person stage. So yeah, that's the kind of thing you do when you're playing the club show and you're just strumming a guitar. Like, no, you gotta bring your A game. Like Lady Gaga last year, she brought her A game. I'm like, you can like her or hate her, but that set was so good. And that the one that I loved the most was the 9 Inch Noise one, 9 Inch Nails and Boys Noise.
I did see a little bit of that. Yeah,
they put together a really good stage show, and it was kind of a one-off thing. He said he's not doing a full tour or anything. And then I think I watched Wednesday, I watched Geese, I watched Joyce Manor. So I was just flipping through. I was having a good time. Like, I have nothing to do on the weekend. I don't need to be standing in the hot desert or the cold desert as it was last weekend. But yeah, I watched the David Byrne one, which kind of is relevant to our show, and ended up buying tickets because he's playing a proper tour now. So I grabbed tickets this morning for that, actually.
Nice. I've yet to get to see him.
Yeah, same for me. So it's one of those ones where I'm excited to see it and get to see the full thing. Like, because I watched bits and pieces. I didn't get the 100% of it. But yeah, and then I'm trying to think of Turnstile. I watched theirs too, and that was good as well. But yes, from the comfort of my couch, they were all a lot more entertaining without some tweaker trying to burn me during Beck.
I want to use troubadour energy from now on, though. I just want everybody to know that troubadour energy.
So it's coming out. All right. So let's start like we always do with the history of the artist. So I will say I listened to a lot of the Bandsplain episode on the Talking Heads. So a lot of what I got comes from there, and then just various online resources. So Talking Heads were formed by David Byrne and Chris France, and they met in art school at the Rhode Island School of Design. They started performing in a band called the Artistics, which was a 2-piece performing basically covers. And at that point, they didn't get much traction, but I mean, they were at art school, so everybody was doing some kooky stuff, and they were right there with it. And the Tina Weymouth was actually Chris's girlfriend, future wife, and she wasn't in the original band, the Artistics, but they left Rhode Island Art School and moved to a loft in New York. From what I heard, the loft had no shower. It had no stove. They had to just use a little a little camping stove to cook their food and keep things out on the balcony to keep them cold when it was winter time. So no air conditioning. And it was right by CBGB's, which became kind of the iconic club of New York. And Chris and Tina after the disbanding, they went to a Ramones show at CBGB's and thought, we need to put a band back together. And at this point, David Byrne realized that a two-piece wasn't going to work, so they started searching for a bassist. And Tina, at that point, had never played bass, but was someone who had played guitar for many years. So it's not like they handed her an instrument that she'd never played before. She didn't go full Kim Gordon on this thing. She'd played instruments, just not the bass. But guitar converting to bass isn't that uncommon. And David Byrne still made her try out 3 times before finally accepting her. I mean, the moral of the story as I read and listen about them is David Byrne could just be a dick sometimes. And this was one of those ones where he's like, nope, you're going to still practice. And then he made the band practice for 6 months before booking their first gig. And that was in 1975, opening for the Ramones at CBGB's. And apparently Johnny Ramone agreed to let them open because he figured it's their first show. They're going to suck and it'll just make us look better. So
wow.
Johnny Ramone, also a historical dick. So yeah.
Yes, he is.
One of those ones where you can love their music, but he's just known with a reputation of just kind of being a jerk. So they got some good buzz that night and continued to play CBGB's, where this scene was getting a lot of notice and a lot of press. It was getting written up in all the New York magazines. It got written up in Rolling Stone. So Talking Heads were already getting huge amounts of press, and they had yet to record anything. And they were approached by several record labels, and all of them, David Byrne said, sorry, we're not going to sign. We're just not ready. And then the crazy encounter, I don't know if either of you heard about what happened with Lou Reed. So Lou Reed invited them to his house, and he had a record label that he had worked on with Velvet Underground. Right. And he told Tina to go get a spoon. He had one spoon in his house, and it was a smack spoon, of course, because we're talking about Lou Reed. And he said, oh, go to my freezer and get the ice cream. And he sat there, ate an entire pint of ice cream while they were sitting on the couch, and he just kind of insulted them, like, you guys aren't very good, but I'll sign you because, people like art rock. And yeah, if I do sign you, though, I'm going to keep all the rights to your music, but you're not going to sell anything anyway. And just kind of insulted them. And then Chris said, oh, I want to take this to my lawyer friend and have him read it. And the lawyer friend read it. Like, that contract's insane. He's basically saying he will own you if you sign this contract. Yeah, just the weird encounter. He just sat there eating ice cream, telling them they sucked, and saying, and by the way, sign with me. So
that sounds like some comic contracts I've gotten.
Yeah, honestly, I've dodged a few bullets with contracts like that, where I just looked at them like, yeah, I'm no dummy. I can say no to that one. So they kept telling the labels they weren't ready, and David decided that a 3-piece wasn't the best way to represent the band. So they recruited Jerry Harrison, who they brought in to do keyboards, and he insisted that they sign a contract first because he was in the band Modern Lovers, and they crumbled just as they were starting to make it big because their singer wanted to stay fully art house, didn't want to sign a contract. So he was feeling bitter about that. So got the Talking Heads to sign a contract with Sire Records. And there they released their first album in 1977. And after it was released, they started to collaborate with producer Brian Eno. And he kind of became an unofficial 5th member of the band. He was writing songs. And what ended up happening is this is where the first tensions of the band come. Because if you read anything about this band, they don't like each other. They didn't. And they kind of sucked it up and stayed together. But when Brian Eno was there, the credits on the back of the album started to say songs written by David Byrne, Brian Eno, and the Talking Heads. And he just kind of lumped the 3 of them together. So they were getting pretty pissed. They were getting taken out of songwriter credits, and there was a lot of tension. So the band kind of went on a hiatus while David Byrne was recording a solo album, and they went to the Bahamas, I believe. I'm not sure on this, where Tina and Chris went and formed the Tom Tom Club during this hiatus. And the Tom Tom Club released the, what is their song? Something of Love. I'm forgetting it. But the do-do, 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 that song.
It's on Yeah, it's on one of the Talking Heads live CDs.
Yeah, it is. They put it on the CD, the Stop Making Sense.
Yeah.
But yes, they released that song and that album and proceeded to sell more copies than any Talking Heads album. That album went gold and then platinum, and the Talking Heads up to that point had never gone gold or platinum. They were kind of like thinking man's, nerd rock, and things like that. So yes, missing comments because I'm reading my notes.
I caught you up.
Okay, cool. So we're there. All right. So that brings us to the history of the album. We're going to kind of do it like Aretha Franklin. We'll go into the album and then we'll go back to their later history. So, history of this album. So, they had worked with Brian Eno for 2 albums and they dropped him as producer for this one and decided to produce it themselves and also work together in their songwriting because David Byrne was very competitive and didn't want the Tom Tom Club to outdo him. So he kind of brought Tina and Chris in and gave them a lot more voice in the writing process. So a lot of this album, which is their 4th album, one we're going to be talking about, they worked together. They kind of were just jamming together and built these songs as they were working. So this one did end up being a success for them. It ended up going platinum. It was their first ever platinum album. And it was also a lighter, poppier side because David Byrne had started dating. What is her name? Well, he started dating someone for the first time, like seriously dating someone. And you get kind of that, you get love songs from David Byrne where most of his lyrics before that were just kind of esoteric and poetic and strange, you know, very art school as far as it would go. So
that's why he wore the shoulder pads way up there.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's in our outro video. You can't the giant suit, which I guess was based on kabuki, is what he was saying. Like it was a kabuki thing, and yeah, his head looks so tiny in it. It's such a strange thing, and that's my first ever thing I saw of Talking Heads, and I think my dad's comment was like, "That's some art school bullshit right there," and turned it off. But
got the message across.
Yeah. So I'm like, I just had to seek it out because I think it was probably playing on HBO or something. I'm like, I got to watch the rest of that now. If I'm not supposed to watch it, it's got to be good. And
Friday night videos.
Yeah. So yeah, they this album, like I said, sold over 1 million in the US, 2 million worldwide, although it's hard to get the full release back then because they didn't keep track the same way they do now. But it was kind of the one where it was seen as a kind of moving away from the experimental art sound into something more accessible and commercially successful. And it's very 1983 when you listen to it. It's definitely you know what era this thing was released in, but it's now kind of gone down as considered a pivotal album of the 90s. So reviews, when it came out, this one in real time was reviewed very strong. Critics were praising its strong rhythms, its funk influence. They were praising the catchier, more direct songwriting. The Burning Down the House and This Must Be the Place got a lot of praise as songs, and they thought that it was a lot more emotional, which was not David Byrne's normal style of songwriting. And of course, there's always the naysayers, the ones who said they should have stayed more experimental, like Remain in Light. So, I mean, Dash and I on this show have so many times seen where they just like to say, well, you should sound like your old stuff because, you know, it's moving ahead is never okay for some people, and some of the critics saw it that way. So, yeah, Rolling Stone gave it 4 stars, like they give everything, even though now it's ranked in their top 500 of all time. Pitchfork, of course, didn't review it in real time because it wouldn't have existed, but in one of their retro reviews, they gave it their 8.5 for the Dewey Decimal. And our guy, our notorious grump, Robert Christgau, he gave it an A-.
Wow.
which is rare. He loves to. I mean, he loves to just trash stuff.
He's the C- guy. Always the C-.
He's always the C-, and the best. Like calling Paul Simon wimpy, like his wimpy little voice. He's like, the polyrhythm is good, but it's just not his wimpy voice can't keep up with it. So yes, Chris Gow, I love him. I always have to see if he reviewed anything we do, because he's the original Pitchfork. Actually, he's the original snarky critic who likes to just trash everybody. But he did like this one. He didn't like the live album that came from it, because the live album stopped making sense was directly because of this tour for this one, and he gave that one a lesser good review because he's like, they just released a live album, released some studio material.
Wow.
And he gave it a B+, but he still was grumpy about it. But that's Robert Christgau, like Village Voice Grump. I mean, you can go and just read his reviews, especially find the ones he just doesn't give a grade. He just gives a little bomb to. Those are the best.
No, I'm good.
He's the grumpy Muppet.
Yeah, Chris Gow is the first grumpy Muppet. He's the original Pitchfork, and I'm sure Pitchfork had to model themselves after him. So, returning to the history of the band, so this album led to their famed tour with the giant suit that we talked about, and the movie directed by Jonathan Demme stopped making sense, which was, when we get to our history, that was my first exposure to the band, and my dad's ire at how stupid it was. But never tell someone they shouldn't do something that becomes the only thing they want to do.
Yeah.
And the soundtrack to that is at this point still their highest selling album to date. So, Chris Gow be damned, it still ended up being their best selling album. So they went on to release 3 more albums, one of them a soundtrack to a David Byrne movie, which Chris and Tina, he said, "Oh, you guys can be in it, but you got to be a pimp and his whore." And they're like, "Yeah, we're good. We'll pass on that one." So they, during those times, they were still just tensions were mounting. David Byrne said, "Oh, the last tour was too good, so we're not going to tour again." And the band was getting more and more irritated. And at this point, in 1991, they broke up. They just kind of announced they didn't really announce anything. They just kind of disappeared, and they've reunited once, even though I've heard Coachella's offered them, I think, upwards of like 5 to 10 million to do the 2 weekends. They've only done one reunion, and that was for their Hall of Fame induction when they got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, anything I missed?
Pretty comprehensive rundown.
Yes. So like I said, thanks to Bandsplain and all the other podcasts that I listened to when I was running, so I could take notes and sweatily take my notes into the phone. And I was telling Dash, I accidentally sent one of them, and I was like, "Oh wow, that's going to be a weird text." And sure enough, when we get to that song, I will talk about that one. That was funny. Getting my reply this morning to it. All right, so let's dig in now to our history. So, Dash, what's your history with the Talking Heads?
Obviously the songs from this album started. I'm about 10 years old at the time that this album came out. So, and that's when I really started learning about them. And then I had not listened to this album. I listened to their later ones, and obviously the MTV era.
Yeah,
we're right at the height of the MTV era, and. So, and Friday Night Videos, just like I said earlier, that's where I learned of them, and I knew all about the. But this was the very first time like I said, because we're doing this episode. This was the first time I'd listened to this album, and this is, like you said, this is one of their best or their
this is
selling
considered
album.
One of their. Yeah. I don't know if it's. I mean, their live album's the best selling all of them, but I wonder of the studios if it's the best selling. I didn't check. I know the ones they released after this also did pretty well. They all, pretty much every one of them had some hit on it. I don't know about the movie soundtrack one, but I know
the movie bombed kind of too as well.
Yeah, and David Byrne was really upset. So the way I've never seen the movie, but the way I heard it described on Bandsplain, it's like David Lynch if he was happy. So
well, that's an oxymoron in itself.
Yeah.
Right there.
So they're like David Lynch if he was just a chipper guy. So I haven't seen it, but that's kind of an interesting description.
you're not missing.
Yeah.
He is a very to me he seems self-centered. David.
Yeah,
Byrne,
well,
and
the band would agree. Chris wrote an entire book that basically the you could summarize it on the back cover of David Byrne sucks, let me tell you why. And for 300 pages he digs into why he hates David Byrne.
I mean,
Because
I'm not sure I hate him that much, but he does.
Well,
I mean, he does.
We
have
weren't
some,
in his band. We don't know.
he does have some self-centeredness there, but overall, I mean, that's my history. You know, just the growing up in the MTV era. And
I mean, you couldn't miss it if you grew up in that time of the 80s. They were on a lot, but that was also because MTV at that point in time didn't have a lot of videos to pick from. So the ones they did have got played over and over and over again. All right. So, John, what's your history with the band?
Well, I was 2 years old when this album came out, so this one didn't hit me until a lot later. I definitely, because of the VH1 MTV era, my earliest memories are the video for Wild Wild Life with John Goodman, Road to Nowhere.
Great songs.
Oh, yeah.
Once in a Lifetime. Those are the ones you would see on repeat all the time, right?
Oh,
but
yeah.
I distinctly remember the John Goodman one.
Yeah.
All the time. And then, of course, you know, my mom, she liked popular radio. We would hear things like, you know, Burning Down the House and stuff on the radio. So I do remember them early, but it's those videos that really stuck with me.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I was well into high school that I really got into them, because I think we were at a used CD store and one of my buddies was like, oh, you know, Talking Heads have a live CD, you know, we should get it.
Yeah.
And I hadn't listened to much of their albums till then. And boy, is that just one of the greatest things ever to me.
Oh, yeah.
It just hit me right at the right time in high school. And I just, even though I was 20 years post it coming out or so, maybe a decade, I just loved it. And a lot of those songs are on this CD. But I didn't go back to the albums for a long time. I just loved that live album. I dipped a little bit into other ones. My mom had one CD of True Stories, which has Wild Wild Life on it. I remember listening to that. And it wasn't until, you know, late high school, early 20s, then I started kind of looking into all their catalog. And that's when I really fell in love with everything. They are definitely amongst my top 5 favorite bands of all time. I just love everything. The movie soundtrack he did for the movie that never came out called Here Lies Love.
Yeah.
I loved that. His collaboration with St. Vincent.
That one's great.
It's one of my most favorite things ever. He constantly puts out these things that are just my favorite thing ever. But to be honest with you, I'm glad you picked this album, because I like this album. I've listened to it, but I don't really go back to the albums much. I listen to kind of the songs I like. I listen to the live album a lot. And to me, if you had asked me before this, I would have said Remain in the Light is my favorite album. Because that's the album I listen to the most. And then the other one is their last album, which was Naked, which I think is universally panned. I just like that album. I just don't know why. That's the one I listen to. But I think I avoid this one because all the songs I feel like are better versions on the live. So it was fun to go back. And then I was like, wait a minute. Once in a Lifetime is my favorite song by maybe ever. Burning Down the House is great. Slippery. All these songs I love. Maybe this is my favorite album. So I kind of came out of it, with more of appreciation for this album, even though I do. Now, I don't know. I might be breaking some new ground here with you. Dash probably hasn't told you, but you are a music nerd. I don't know if you knew that.
I am.
I am a music nerd in other ways, though. I don't seek information out a lot on the bands that I look for. I love, what I love, and I like it for how I like it and how it touched my life. But I love listening to people like you who dig the history and stuff like that. But I don't seek that out. I don't look for the podcast. And part of that is because I definitely got the sense from interviews when I was younger that David Byrne is a dickhead. And I don't really want to ruin what I think of him. Yeah. But what I've actually come to think, being a social worker, is I think David Byrne has a
autism
disability. I think he has autism.
Well, he's come out and admitted that he's undiagnosed autism.
And now that's not an excuse for bad behavior or anything like that. No. We know that. But I did kind of get that sense that he kind of comes off because he's just very rigid about things. But damn if it doesn't produce results at some points too. No discredit to the other bandmates, but I just think the man is like a genius, and he's also very autistic. And
I don't think he's because like you said, he's not, and we're not in the band. And I can't say he's a dickhead, because again, I just think he's very I think he's all about himself, and that's not it.
Well,
And I'm not saying that sometimes is a bad thing.
Well, I don't know,
I think
but
he can back it up.
what I
like
know
you-
about persons
yeah.
who can be on the spectrum, he might just be very rigid again and
Right.
immovable in what he wants. So that makes it
Yeah.
seem like I'm smarter than you. But
Right.
what it is like I don't feel like I can move like you said. That I know the live shows were very meticulously,
Mhm.
rehearsed, and like he's just very much. But Frank Zappa was that way too.
Oh,
Yeah, there's certain bands that
A
are
lot
like
of
that.
genius people are too. But
he backs it up, like you said. He backs it up with the
Oh,
music
absolutely.
that he produces
He does.
and writes. So
and obviously he's not for everybody. I love the singers who, maybe they're not as tuneful as my son would say.
Yeah.
Other
They're
people.
not kroners. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was playing it with my daughter in the car. She's like, he doesn't sing, he just talk sings. I'm like, you're not
That's fine.
wrong. I
love
can't
that
fight
shit.
you on that one.
Give me Neil Young, give me David Byrne any day. I like a guy who I can almost sing as good as.
Yeah.
But I love the
could do
Talking
some
Heads. They're
David
my
Byrne in
favorite.
karaoke. I could rock that.
Hell yeah.
I think the entire country sings better than Neil Young as far as his vocal talent
But
is.
hey, that's all right.
But
That guy's a songwriter, though.
But
I
he is.
mean,
He is
some of the all-time great songs coming right from
Yeah.
his mouth, but his not so tuneful mouth. But it works. You use the voice you have and you make it work for you. And David Byrne did that. But yeah, talking about the inflexibility, I guess when they were doing rehearsals for the Stop Making Sense concert film they were going to do, one of the backup singers got a haircut. And David Byrne lost his shit and like forced her to get hair extensions because it had to look like what they were doing in the rehearsal. So that is very much spectrum behavior. Like, no, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to practice. Because as someone who's taught many kids who are on the spectrum, I write a daily agenda in my classroom. And if I stray from it, I will hear from them. Yeah. It's 2:00. We're supposed to be doing this. This is what it says on your agenda. And it's like, you
Very
are here to
on right and wrong and rules. And
yeah, you're supposed to have long hair like you had yesterday. Go put these extensions in because we're not going to have that short bob on my stage. Get lost.
Dad, it's 9:30. We have math. Yes, I know, Rennie. Thank you.
Yep. So, yes. All right.
Yeah, and I do remember a specific VH1 interview. And again, it's only one side of it, right?
Yeah.
And they said, Chris called him up and said, hey, would you like to do, a reunion tour? And he said, I told you the Talking Heads are broken up, and he hung up on him. And I remember
that's
hearing that and being like, okay.
That's about the level you get from him. And like I said, at least they actually performed together for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because there's some bands that hate each other so much they won't even do that. But they did perform for that, and that's kind of the probably, I'm going to assume, the last performance, because David Byrne's going and selling out major shows without any need of the other members, just playing those songs. And yeah, it was such a cool visual thing that he had going on. I mean, some tragically bad dancing on his part, but that's, I can't say I could. You know what? I take it back. I was going to say I can't say I would do any better, but I can't say I would do any worse.
Yeah.
Comes down to that. Like, I could pull those same tragic white moves that he was doing right there. It's like I got that same amount of lack of rhythm.
Well, and that's another thing about that. It's not just a lack of rhythm. Like, he's talked a lot about this in his solo career. He's very much about movement and sound and like choreographed things. Like, that's part of his performance art. So some of it's purposeful, but some of it is maybe not.
I always
not
thought his movement was just with the song. It's just the way he envisioned the song is the way I always interpreted his dance.
Oh, he said he practiced the wiggle that he did during I think it was the what song was he playing? I think it was my the girlfriend song. And that wiggle he did, he said he practiced in front of the mirror for hours. So
I believe it.
It's probably with the song playing in the background, the live version, to make sure that the wiggles were just right. And I mean, it's just so much fun. And that was my history. It was like, all right, being told that's stupid and not watching it, and then seeking it out myself. And that's why I didn't visit this album, was I loved the live versions from Stop Making Sense. So those became my go-to listen.
Absolutely.
And then I didn't dig into a lot of their back catalog. I kind of bought the greatest hits and thought that'll serve me, that and Stop Making Sense. So it was interesting listening to these songs out of the context of that live CD. Because like I said, that live CD is one of, if not the greatest live CDs / movies that are out there.
For sure.
It's so good, and that's where I know these songs from. So now I hear the studio ones, and I'm like, ooh, they're missing that punch that they have in the live versions.
The life is a little bit, it's dull, it's kind of muted almost,
Yeah.
There's a life to and they change some of the stuff. So yeah, I definitely go to but again, I did enjoy visiting this album as a whole again.
Yeah. And and I will say I was very upset. I got the pressing, the new vinyl pressing is just garbage. And I have to take it back to Amazon, and I'm going to seek out an old pressing on eBay because, in the 80s, they made albums that didn't skip like mad. So the new ones, they tried to do it all fancy. And like after about the 10th skip on the first songs, like, damn it, I bought a vinyl and I got to play this shit on Spotify. That's not right.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So in the end, I'll return it and go buy one from eBay that's from the actual 80s, or just go to a record store and find it in the used bin.
Find it.
Yeah, it'll be there. I think that's my thing. I'd rather feed that machine than the eBay machine.
There you go.
Yeah, so I was not pleased, but what can you do? All right, so now let's move to our next category, and that is our overall thoughts of this album. So, Dash, what were your overall thoughts on this one?
Funky funk. This was just funky. Again, because I never heard this one. I knew of their later ones, but
yeah,
I know I liked it. I like the entire vibe. Now there's some skips on the album for sure, but I like the entire vibe of the album. I like you're just obviously you start out with one of the most famous songs, "Burn Down the House," and then you just go right into it. It's just a good move. At no point, like I said, are you really just going on the album?
Yeah,
I think my overall thoughts is it's really good, and I listened to it like. I listened to my first time and then like 3 or 4 times in a row after that because I was just like, I you got to feel it.
Yeah, it has good movement. It has a good flow where some albums kind of jerk you around. This one has really good flow going on.
Yeah. All right. But you're just. It is. Yeah, I do fart noises when I don't like an album. So, but yeah, just the good vibes through the whole thing, and you can move to it. So that's what I like.
All right. So what are your overall thoughts, John?
I loved it. I feel like he said, not a lot of skips, maybe one, maybe.
We'll see if we agree on that one.
We'll see if we agree on that one. But
but
yeah, there's some great songs. I'm glad to revisit it again because I think you miss certain tracks that aren't as popular. There's quite a few, like you said, that obviously it was the era of that live album, so almost half the album makes it on there.
Yeah.
But This Must Be the Place is one of my favorite songs ever. So I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, of course, the live version is better.
Live version is better.
Burning Down the House, Making Flippy Floppy Girlfriend is better. Slippery People. All those songs are great live. Swamp. But you miss songs like Pull Up the Roots and I Get Wild. Those are, good additions. It's not an incredibly long album, so you do get a lot of it on the live.
Yeah, they get a good majority.
It's cool to listen to it like in the order it was intended, like you said. It's a complete album. It has an awesome opener, a great closer.
Yeah.
And I love it. It's one of my favorite albums ever.
Yes, it's good. My notes, I kept them small. I said it's nerdy art house rock meets white boy funk, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Whatever the tensions were in the room, it made better art for it. And
and I think really his competitive spirit made this a better album because he wanted something that could appeal to the pop crowd because he did not want Tom Tom Club to trump him. And whatever it was, competitive juices, whatever it took to get him to put this album out, it worked. And we're all better for it, for him wanting to be better than Tom Tom Club, which he did end up outselling. But then they used that song in Mariah Carey licensed that song, and they just backed up another truckload of money for it. So
kind of, he's doing all right.
Yeah, I don't think anyone in the band is starving, but those two just got big residuals. And the only one who's angry is I forget his name, but when we're doing King Crimson in a few weeks, Dash, and one of the members of King Crimson was originally in the Tom Tom Club, had to leave for a little bit, and they recorded everything without him, and none of those truckloads of money go to his house. So
Damn.
yeah, there's someone bitter about Tom Tom Club, and that would be your guy. Like, damn it, King Crimson's not, getting Mariah Carey money. So, yeah.
Band Bones UK did.
Yeah, and a lot of people
I find a lot of bands better live. That's why I'm a huge
I was
live
gonna
recording person.
When I was younger, I didn't like. I felt like a lot of the recordings just, it was just like they just recorded it live. It wasn't as technical as albums like this. Like, Stop Making Sense is like that's, when you get that high of a bar. I don't know. A lot of the live stuff, I don't seek out a ton of live albums, but
yeah. I'm always looking for those, but this one I think is one of the ones that truly surpasses the source material for those ones. So let's dig in now to our favorite songs. So, Dash, what's one of your favorites on this one?
Well, John just mentioned the probably the best song on the album to me as well is "This Must Be the Place." I know it's a little bit slower, a little bit than the rest of it, but I love the video for it. I sat and watched the video over and over and over. I like the like they're watching the old movies, the old 8mm movies, and I love "This Must Be the Place." That's such a great song. "Girlfriend Is Better" is pretty good. And "Making Flippy Floppy" is just funny. It's
I just love the title. I like saying it. It just works.
And then "Burning Down the House." I mean, you can't go wrong with "Burning Down the House."
And I have notes on all those. I'll give you when I go through them. Some fun facts about all those different songs, because as John said, it's not even an insult. I'm a music nerd, so I love to find. I love the inside baseball on all the different things about bands. So, John, what were some of your favorites on this one?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same as Dash. I mean, "This Must Be the Place" again, probably my favorite song ever in general. So hard to stop that one. "Girlfriend Is Better" is a great song. Really the first 4 tracks are just amazing. But
it's a great opening. It's just a great opening.
It is. It's so strong, and you think you're starting with one of the iconic songs of all time in the '80s, and that's your opener, and it's just like, damn, that's
They came out hot.
Yeah, they came out hot and just kept going. So I had "This Must Be the Place." The naive melody part of it comes from every band member besides Chris traded instruments for the song. So they weren't playing their natural instruments.
I did not know that.
What David Byrne wanted to do was create a song with that was more simplistic than their normal, very challenging stuff.
I did not know that.
So each member played a different instrument, but none of them knew how to play the drums besides Chris. So he's the only one that played. So Tina is playing lead guitar. David goes to keyboards, and then I forget where the other one went, but they all basically flipped instruments so that they could play something that would be simple, and yet that simplicity just makes for a perfect song. I mean, I'm with you. It is such a good song. It's one of those ones where you think, all right, this would be a good first dance song at your wedding. It's just the perfect love song. And when we get to best lyrics, I'm like, could I just say the song? Because damn, like every lyric in there is so good. And it was David Byrne in his first true love. And he's kind of he's going to sing it to the rooftops that he's in love. And I think they stayed together till like 1990. So they didn't stay together forever, but that was his first love. And a lot of the love songs on this, "Girlfriend Is Better," were written about her.
Yeah.
So that one, that was the interesting thing. That's why they put "Naive Melody" as the second part of the song, because it was all people playing the wrong instruments, playing their unnatural ones.
I would have never known that if you not said that.
That's great.
That's cool.
All right. And then I had in there "Burning Down the House." I mean, it's cliche to say it, but it's so damn good, and it still holds up. I could hear it and I don't think, I want to turn it off because I heard it too much. And I got fun facts about that one too. But Chris and Tina went to went to a P-Funk concert, and I guess one of the things the crowd chants is "Burn down the house." So they were just jamming out this song, and David Byrne was just kind of writing it with syllables and sounds to fill in what was going to be there. And Chris just kept yelling, "Burn down the house," when he would get hot. And David Byrne liked it so much that he turned it into "Burning Down the House," because Chris just kept yelling it at him during the jam session.
Nice. And there's a million good live versions of that song. Oh, he's done that, so many times with different people over the years.
Oh yeah. And it's one of the ones that's been a lot. And I guess Tina said that she got the bass line straight from Black Uhuru, a reggae band. So yeah. And I don't know the Black Uhuru song, because I know some of their songs, but I don't know which one she sings. She just said that she took a Black Uhuru riff and was kind of jamming that riff during their jam session and just kept it.
Well, it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
That song though, like you said though, it's you're the 80s though. I mean, there's no doubt about it, but it does hold up.
Yeah.
Cool, babies.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Let me see if I think I had a couple other ones. I had "Girlfriend is Better." Yeah. And my notes about this one when I wrote it is I said it's a disco party at the Droid Factory, because it has those weird little sci-fi keyboard thing that I'm like, oh, that's like the Droid Factory. And then at the 3-minute mark, you get this, like they play a little instrumental stretch that sounds my brain, like couch metaphor time coming. I said, I imagine I'm at Disneyland, and in Tomorrowland, they had this stage that would rise up from the ground every hour or so. And there would be these little robots playing instruments and things like that. So I imagine the droids at Tomorrowland are coming up and playing that particular jam right next to the burger restaurant. And Adele Lutz, that was the girlfriend he had at this time. And yeah, I just imagine the droids at Disneyland are playing this song, and now that especially that little beer that kicks in during the chorus, I'm like, yeah, it's all just droids. And I just picture that little nerdy droid that it is my first time, the one that was the Star Tours droid. Yes. He's playing lead on this song. So yes, my brain moved in some weird directions when I was listening to this song. And that's the text I accidentally sent when I was taking my sweat notes. And I said, it reminds me of, the droid show at Star Tours. And I sent it to a whale watching text thread that I get. And he goes, "You're right. The whales do sound like droids." I'm like, dude, that wasn't meant for you. I'm sorry. But yes, that did not go as planned. But yeah, I mean, who knew that it wasn't just, an auto send thing, that there was another person on the other end thinking, I'm going to reply to this guy because he might actually buy a whale watching trip. But what the hell is he talking about? But yeah, I had that one. And then I liked I Get Wild and Wild Gravity. That one, you can hear the kind of real reggae dub influences. Yes. I guess David Byrne and the rest of the band were really into dub. Like they originally, the Tom Tom Club wanted to get I'm trying to think. They wanted to get, it wasn't the Toots and the Maytals. It was as soon as I get on here, I'll remember it and then I'll go blank. But they wanted to get a reggae producer to produce Tom Tom Club, because it was actually Chris Blackwell that signed them, who originally signed Bob Marley. And David Byrne was fascinated by dub albums because, I don't know if you knew this, more music nerd facts for you, they cut the grooves deeper in the reggae dub stuff because it creates thicker bass when you're playing it. So David Byrne wanted to do something like this. So they actually have longer versions, cut more like the dub style reggae albums, where it's like a full side, because you can't cut only one song like that. You have to cut full sides. That's why dub songs go on for so much longer, because they're a full side of an album. And he cut some of the, not B-sides, but I guess like remix kind of versions of this one that go much longer into those, with those deep grooves like they use in the reggae ones.
Cool.
And then yes, I just had Pull Up the Roots. I just said this one fucking slaps. No notes. It's just good.
Wow, that's
Just quick and easy. So then that's what I had. So anybody else want to any more songs before we go into
I think you
our
named the
favorite
whole
lyrics?
album.
Yeah.
Did I?
I think you named the whole album.
Well, no, I got my one skip. So yeah,
Right.
there is a skip on there. But I think aside from my skip, there you go. And I was just having fun because, like I said, the podcast I listen to is 5 hours of talking heads. So you get a lot of fun facts as you go along the way. Like, oh my gosh, it's like music nerd time. And yes, I was enjoying it. All 5 hours of the podcast. All right, so best lyrics. Oh, all right, John, what are some of your favorite lyrics from this one?
Oh boy, what comes to mind right away? I always love the line, especially on the live album, when he says it's always showtime here at the edge of the stage. I like that. That one always pops out to me as a great David Byrne lyric.
Yeah.
And basically the whole last song, everything in it. But
name every lyric, and it's like, yep, that one, that one,
yeah,
that
but
one.
when he says "born with a weak heart," guess I must be having fun. I like that whole song.
Yeah, solid. All right. Any other lyrics you want to showcase?
I got a girlfriend that's better than that, and nothing is better than this, is it?
Yes, with bows in her hair. Anyone? Any new love? Like, all right, that's like every high school kid who falls in love right there. Like, I got the best girlfriend.
And it's so funny that you mentioned that, because I never put that together. And again, I don't listen to the albums in chronological order often, and I didn't grow up with them. So it's so funny that you say that, because it is so obvious that he's very artsy up to this point, and then he's like, again, probably part of his personality, he's obsessing a little bit, and he wants to sing about it, and maybe that is why this album kind of goes to that next level. Because I do love the his nonsensical lyrics and his all that stuff is a huge part of the charm of the band.
Yes,
but I do love the songs when they have he strays a little bit. It almost makes it more impactful, because it's not 10 songs about love and happiness. It's like he kind of sneaks one in there on and they're kind of always a little off center.
You don't get the whole love album. You get a couple songs that let you know, okay, he's in a good place that way. But it's not like you get the I'm in Love album followed by the breakup album, which the most of the trajectories of the band. So yeah, like you said, you get enough to know, but not enough to feel overwhelmed by it. He still throws some weird esoteric stuff at you.
Always.
Yes. If he didn't, it wouldn't be a Talking Heads album.
Right.
All right. So Dash, what lyrics stood out to you?
Oh, I got a girlfriend that's better than that. She has the smoke in her eyes. That's a cool line. I don't care what you say. I love that. She's going to give me a surprise. I think it's right. Better than this. I think you can. I love Girlfriend is a great song.
Yes.
And then again, just the last song. I just love every line in that. That is very heart.
Yes.
That entire song is
for sure
is just fantastic. And I mean, again, we could go into Burn Down the. I mean, all of us are going to say the same ones, I'm sure. So
yeah,
it just So that's mine. I just love the girlfriend's really got really great lyrics. So
and this must be the place I love when he says, "You've got a face with a view."
Yeah,
and I'm just an animal looking for a home. And share the same space for a minute or two.
Yeah.
And you'll love me till my heart stops. Love me till I'm dead. Eyes that light up. Eyes that look through you. So I love that. And you've got a face with a view. For some reason, I was thinking of the Neutral Milk Hotel song where he said, I want to dance in your tangles. And I'm like, just a different way of putting it. That's not the standard. I mean, I love it because Jeff Mangum's definitely an outside thinker as well.
You never picked up a woman and told her she got a face with a view?
I've been failing in love all these years.
The fact that you can take any phrase and make it sound like it's a love, like I love you is
masterpiece.
Yes.
Is a masterpiece.
Like I said, it kind of reminds me how Jeff Mangum would say you're very pretty instead of, you're beautiful. You get the ones that sing it straight and nothing else besides that. But you get him saying you have a face with a view, and Jeff Mangum saying I want to dance in your tangles. I'm like,
I love
that's the proper way to say it. That's the way us weirdos would say it. Something like that. So let's see. What else did I have? Oh, I just laughed at one of the lines in Making Flippy Floppy,
Making
which,
Flippy. Oh, it's
where he said, where's that? Our president's crazy. Did you hear what he said? I'm like, facts, sir. And it still rings true. I mean, this is
That's
Reagan
true
he was
today
talking
as
about.
it was when it was written.
It resonates even now, and it was written in '83 about Reagan, who I
Timeless.
guess, yeah, there was this weird Reagan recording where he got live on mic and said he was gonna like start bombing Russia, and they took that song and tried to make it into like a dance song.
Yeah.
And they thought it would help Reagan. It would help, I think it was Walter Mondale win the election, which he got absolutely slaughtered in. I think he won his home state and nothing else. So they thought this song will show him we're gonna take Reagan out of office, and it didn't work as they planned. And,
well, yeah, I mean, at that time, still we're still at the height of the Cold War. They weren't going to let.
yeah.
Yeah, he was. They weren't going to let him lose.
Yeah, but it's funny. They thought they could have some musical power. Be like, ooh, we'll show you. And
we gave rapping Ronnie Reagan more power.
So much. Yeah, all you did was give Reagan a hit song.
Yeah. Does he get credit for it? Does he get credit for it on the song?
I wonder. Yeah, lyric credit written by Reagan. He gets royalties. The ultimate middle finger to them. Like, yeah, you tried to take me out of office, and now I'm getting paid royalties.
I do like Doctor. We have nothing in our pockets. We continue, but we have nothing left. I just Flippy Floppy is a good song.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun. I like Pull Up the Roots where I have a good time when I go out of my mind, and it's a wonderful place, and I can't wait to be there. It's like, same. I feel you sometimes. Sometimes I'm with you. So it's, I mean, we're all writers. We have to go out of our minds a lot to figure out how to do what we're doing. So, any other lyrics you want to throw in? Because I mean, I could. I'm trying to see if I have any that we didn't really talk about. With the Wild Gravity, it says the sound of a cigarette burning, and a place there where everything spins, and the sound inside your mind is playing all the time, playing with a heart of steel. I'm like, there's our David Byrne weird lyrics again. Like, that's it. And I'm like, that's the ones like Dash and I talk about. Certain lyricists you could throw into a poetry class and they'd fit right in.
Yeah.
It would be.
He's a lyrical master. And I wonder if that song was a holdover from another album. That one sounds a little bit like an older.
It does. Those are the kind of lyrics you heard or in his earlier stuff.
And that's a good. I would almost bet you, now that you say that probably was a holdover.
That
just
would
the
make
really
a lot of sense.
the super electronic drums and like, or maybe that's
yeah, Brian Eno leftover
Brian
stuff.
Eno.
All right, so anyone's to skip on this album. So what do you think, John? Anything you're gonna skip?
Well, I still think this album is a 10 out of a 10. Usually if there's one skip and it doesn't really bring that whole album down, but this one, I can't deny that Moon Rocks is not one that I would bring up, or, if it came up on shuffle, I'd probably skip it. But I still think it's a perfect album.
Yes. And a perfect album can have a song that you're just kind of meh about. It's not that it's the worst. It just kind of wins. In our case, that is our guy here, the Mego. The Mego is when it's just okay, it's meh. Like the Mego award for the day. I agree with that one. That was my pick as well. What about you, Dash?
We got it across the board. It's
so we all agree that one. It's not that it's terrible. None of us are saying it's awful. We're just saying it gets the Mego for the day. So let me see.
I won't get up and pull the needle off of the.
Yeah, I mean, I need to get a proper vinyl of it now, so I can actually.
But if I'm on Spotify or something else, I'll push the next button. But I won't get up and hit the needle off of it if it's on the LP.
There he is. There's the Mego for us.
I mean, honestly, of their, and again, they're one of my favorite bands ever. Of their, 7 or 8 studio albums, they really don't even have a lot that you skip. Like it's part of the album, so you're just like, okay, whatever. Like you said, I'll listen to it. It's part of the charm, but there's not too many that I can call off the top of my head.
No,
Yeah, I would say, like you said, it's more of a if it comes in the Spotify shuffle, which next week I guarantee when I play Spotify DJ, that's what he's going to be playing is a ton of Talking Heads, and if that one is the one, then I'll skip so he plays the next one because now he's going to think I'm through with Aretha Franklin and now obsessed with Talking Heads because my obsession.
Some of their earlier, I guess some of their earlier albums, there's a lot. They do a lot artistically, so maybe on, songs about buildings and food, or the name of the band is Talking Heads.
I don't even know if I would skip them though. I mean, because they fit the albums.
Yeah, I guess if you're playing a vinyl, especially, the flow is kind of created in a way where you let it go. It's more of the streaming generation where you think about skipping those ones, or the CD generation. But these albums were released pre-CD, so it takes a lot for me to pull the needle off the record, and none of these are worthy of that.
I mean, obviously that certain bands maybe don't, but a lot of bands put a lot of thought into the flow of the album, open and close and stuff.
And that's one of the reasons that this album is a 5-star for me.
Yeah,
is because of the way that the
sequencing.
Yeah, the sequencing of the song of the songs was just perfect to me.
And we've talked about that a lot on the show, where there's albums that are so poorly sequenced they take you out of the mix. And when we've interviewed bands, we've talked to them about the sequencing and the importance of that, and they all pretty much say that a lot of thought goes into that. It's not just a mindless thing, and if it is, you're doing it wrong. You got to really put it together in the right way. So an easy category now. We're going to keep this one, or are we returning it to the used bin? I mean, I think I can speak for all of us, and we're keeping this one.
I am glad I picked this one.
Yeah,
I am glad I picked this one. Like I said, it's pretty much the only one I have not listened to, and for why, and I can't to this day tell you why it's the only one I hadn't listened to. But
I will keep it, but I am a bad fan. I don't own many actual albums. I should probably start getting some physical media back in my life.
Yes,
it's the only way to go.
I will return it and get a better copy. That's where I'm going. I will return it, the crap copy that I got, and of course, as soon as I got it and it was doing that, I went to the Amazon reviews, and there's all these 1-star reviews, and the album actually sits at like a 4-star. I'm like, how could it have 4 stars? It's because of all the 1 stars from the bad vinyl pressing.
Bad vinyl cuss.
It's not anything to do with the music. Everyone says brilliant album, terrible pressing, and I did
not realize that was the thing. I would have thought that technology would be perfected. That's
you would think if you're dropping it and they're doing like the 180 gram fancy thing, you would think that they would get it right, but it's not the first one I've got that's had those kind of issues. I think I got a Record Store Day copy of In Utero, and it was really glitched out, and I had to return it.
It could have been a bad batch that went through that press,
and it probably is, because people were saying it's the Amazon batch, but I'm just going to the record store and I'm going to find a good solid copy from the 80s and know that those were meant to play, and it will do what I need. So I will be definitely rebuying it once I get my refund from Amazon. I will go buy it in a record store and give a brick and mortar shop some love, because that's what we need to do. So next week we will be talking about a brand new album, actually, the new Failure album, which, what is its title? Damn, I forget. Yeah, I forget. It is. What is it? Damn. Okay, I have it sitting in my living room right now.
Location Lost.
Location Lost, yes. And it's kind of, if you know Failures, it's kind of a throwback to their cover for the Fantastic Planet. You have the same astronaut guy on it, so
I'm digging that cover though.
Good stuff. I love the cover. The back's really good too. And yeah, like I said, I went to their record release show last night and got my early copy, so I'll be spinning that this weekend, and we'll be talking Failure. But John, let's get your Kickstarter. Put the link in the chat for me, and let's talk about late pledges right now.
So in my own headcanon, before you start, that's Blurry Alan Rickman's eye. Just
Blurry Alan Rickman's eye. There you go.
That's my head.
Blurry Alan Rickman. You'd have to watch our 38 special episode. Blurry Alan Rickman has come through our show too many times, just like the Mego.
Thanks, Dylan. Right. Glad you had fun.
All right.
Yeah, I had fun too. Thanks for having me on, guys. It's one of my favorite
Yeah.
bands I don't get to talk about enough. And
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I said, because
Yeah,
when
they
you
don't
said
get
you couldn't say you hadn't listened to, I'm like, that's all right.
Mhm.
You be our expert. But yeah, like I said, I dive so deep into these bands. One week I'm just gonna shallow research a band and be like, yeah, they started this year and they're still going. The end.
I'm gonna post that for him right there. I think I got it.
Okay, yes, please.
There it is.
So there's
Yeah.
the link in there, and then we'll pull it up so you can tell us all about Drumsticks of Doom.
yeah, I appreciate it. Drumsticks of Doom. For those who don't know, as we are on a music podcast now, it's very a music centric book. What if Black Sabbath, not the Beatles, became the most popular band in the world? Heavy metal would rule the earth the way it should be. All the stuff that your aunties and grandmas told you would happen if you listened to heavy metal, well, it happened. Demons were summoned, some stuck around, and it made the world a crazy place. But life goes on. And for our main character, Lana, she finds a magical pair of drumsticks when she's thrust into a battle to keep heavy metal on the top of the charts. Yeah, it's our flagship title at Part Time Comics. We're on to the final arc. It was initially intended to be 3 arcs. You get the band together, you record the album, then you go on tour. So they've reached the tour, but you got to read along, dear readers, to find out who makes it through to the encore. So we're to the last 3 issues. We decided to do them all at once in kind of a subscription bundle. I'm glad that it was a slow burn, but I'm glad to see that people kind of rallied around it. And yeah, we're always trying to find ways to save customers and readers money. Why not just get it all out at once? Because we are fortunate enough, if you are a retail shopper, your local comic shop will be carrying this title. We already have 3 issues in shops now, and all 10 issues of Drumsticks of Doom will eventually be solicited in the next 6 to 8 months. So we also have a retail deal that we have to line up. So I kind of need to have all the issues done so I can do the Kickstarter, fulfillment, retail, all that in the works. So better to do it all in kind of one swing like this.
Yes, that's the way to do it. One swoop. I love that. And John, your Kickstarter stressed me out. I don't know how you handle them. I feel stressed when I'm watching you. I'm like, come on. And I always wait till the end to back because I know you'll always need me in the end. So I'm like, I'm better. I'm the better late than never guy. I got in there. I got in here on the last day.
Whether it's a back, a share, $1, 20, whatever it is, I appreciate you always jumping in there. But don't feel like you have to. Don't stress. Don't make your life worse. This is all gravy. I don't do this professionally. I don't want anybody to be stressed out. It's fun stress for me. It's like let's see what happens. I'm gainfully employed, so I don't have to rely on this for my income, thankfully.
If you ever do a full collection of all of it in a hardback with just a black cover, I want you to do that.
Man, you read our mind. That is the dream. So with this arc and the last arc done, we can do the second trade paperback, and then if there is response to it, I would love to have just one oversized hardcover of a collection of my book. That's kind of the dream.
That would be amazing. Yeah, some big omnibus.
I would love to join it. Yeah, so I think a nice 10 issue with some extras, oversized omnibus is definitely in the next the plan for the next couple of years.
Sounds good.
That's fantastic.
I'm here for that. And you can go on my YouTube. I did one of my 1-minute reviews on issue 1, so you can check that out if you want to know a little bit more about it. I talk through everything, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's such a cool thing. And this being a music show, this book fits right into the music themes of the show. Even one of our guys we covered, Dio, you hear about him in the book. So yes,
it's a fun world. It's a fun
good stuff, great world, and amazing read. So I can't recommend it highly enough. I put my money where my mouth is. So
thank you.
You don't hear me saying, "Oh, you should back this book." I didn't, but I was like, "You should back this book." I did, and I back all of his books. So that's how I roll.
I feel bad for you now.
That's okay. I enjoy them. I have a fun time, and you even throw free shipping at me sometimes, so it's all good.
I appreciate
it. Here's this. So thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate having you here this time. So anytime you want to come on, you're welcome. If there's a band we're talking about, you're like, ooh, I have something to say about this one, whether good or bad. We've been on a good streak with albums we actually enjoyed lately, but we're bound to hit one that irritates me. And I know
this time.
I know Ray is ready for it. Ray is like, come on, release your anger. I'm like, I don't have any anger. I like this album.
As long as we don't get any Taylor Swift. No, I'm kidding.
It's difficult when you're like, you're a music nerd and you're kind of just, you accept all things and you're not like a very judgmental person. It's hard to find that album that really, but I'm sure there's a few out there.
We found.
I hate the Eagles with a flaming passion.
We found Joe
if
Walsh.
It's the Eagles or
Walsh,
Eagle
man, I love
adjacent.
Joe Walsh. Come on.
Oh, his first album's
Wow.
awful.
Oh, now we're gonna have to come on and argue about Joe Walsh.
Oh,
for me, that band has always been Sublime for some reason. That's like one of the few bands where
I can go with you. I can
Sublime. That has become a verb because my dad played them so much. I'm like, you just sublimed that band, man. It's over. So I am 100% with you. Not a Sublime guy, never have been, and I've seen them live. That didn't move me. So
I don't know if I have one. I mean, I talk a little bit of smack about Taylor, but there's songs that I like, but there's really just, I can't think if there's any band that just says I can't listen to them and despise them.
Mine. We got my list. It's
I feel
small
like there's
list.
value in most, you can find something you like about it. But
I can dig out a nugget of
another
stuff.
one for me. Oasis is one where I'm like,
Oasis.
I'll skip that.
I might.
The Gallaghers, they're on our Mount Rushmore of assholes. So
for sure,
they live there with Morrissey, and
our Mount Rushmore. Our Mount Rushmore
yeah,
went.
He gets his own mountain because he won't share it.
Our Mount Rushmore went from this big to like this big now.
It has to accommodate his big head.
Yeah, it's bigger now.
All right, so
I appreciate it.
We'll be back next week talking failure. I will not be here Saturday because I got to teach Saturday school. But
dang,
we will see you next week, and have a great rest of your week.
We'll see you.
Thanks, guys.